Okay. Hey friends, Quincy here. So yesterday I put up a little poll about whether I should do like a behind the scenes video of a new self-portrait project I have going on. And well, to the 6 of you who responded, thank you, this one's for you. A few weeks ago I wrote a poem about falling into the depths of uncertainty and anxiety and finding yourself settling into that place, but then waking up and finally finding that spark and rising up again. And I thought that was a great concept to try to put a visual to. So that's what I'm doing today. I recently got some new lights. I got a GVM LED, my little Savage RGB 360 light panel, some gels and diffusion, and of course my camera. Ultimately what I'm aiming for is to do like a wash of dark blue light across the whole scene to mimic the feeling of night, and do a main like orange light to backlight me from a lower angle to visually represent what I wrote in my poem, a haunting glow from the depths below and the uncertainties and anxiety that cradle me. That's the vibe. Cool, let's get to it. So I started with a spotlight from above for a falling idea that I thought would be really cool with some layered clouds within a dark conceptual space. Also at some point at the beginning of setting everything up, I decided to take a video take of each pose to create a video version of the project. I did get a solid ab workout too because of that one pose, so washboard abs, here I come. I also had a second setup with a softer wash of blue light, but since it was going on like 5 hours of this photo shoot, I was just getting exhausted. So I didn't get any extra footage, but just know I got a wide and some close-ups with a second light setup. Hey there. Okay, so it's 3 weeks later, and a whole lot has developed since when I initially shot everything. This project just kind of snowballed into something a whole lot bigger than what I had originally planned, and when innocent little me decided to set up a camera and take some portraits against a dark bedsheet backdrop. So let's start at the beginning. Early into culling and editing, I was like, why am I just gonna put myself into a dark conceptual backdrop when I literally have the power of Photoshop and After Effects at my fingertips? So I decided on the idea of putting myself falling through a layer of clouds and into this conceptual landscape cast in that blue light with thunder and lightning above, the landscape being the depths below. So now with this new vision in mind, I scoured the internet for some stock footage and found some things that I really liked on Adobe Stock and Envato Elements. I started with one of me falling through the clouds into the dark abyss. I ended up with compositing like 3 different cloud elements to create what I was looking for, and also added a blue light streaming through the hole in the clouds with kind of me falling at the center of the picture. The second shot, I decided to put myself into a desert landscape with mountains on the horizon all cast in that same blue light. I'm so happy with the stock footage I found to use, but honestly I did scroll through so many pages of Adobe Stock that it actually kind of became my newfound hobby for like 5 days straight. So I mean, it was bound to happen. The third wide was a bonus shot that I didn't initially plan, but while I was shooting I tried out some different poses and I really loved this one, so I decided to edit this one as well. Because I didn't want to reuse the same field setup, I put myself up in the mountains, which I think turned out pretty great if I do say so myself. And then came the tedious work, which was honestly no one's fault but my own. Since I decided to put myself into a landscape after the fact, I had to cut myself out and rotoscope myself out of every shot that made it into the final video, which, as you may know, made up like 90% of the entire thing. And since I also didn't decide to make a video until I was shooting the actual photos, well, my setup was poorly executed for any visual effects, to say the very least. So 70 hours later, or whatever astronomical amount of time I spent, I had beautifully rotoscoped footage and, well, was no longer the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed creative that I started this project as. So essentially I was good to go. So moving on. For each shot, I exported the separate layers from my photo composites and relayered them again in After Effects, but now in a 3D space, so I could add a camera and create the movement I was looking for. There were also things like the lightning and some rain, as well as the shadows I cast on the ground. I had to key and animate, so there was that as well. Anyway, these are the final results. Even though I'm exhausted with this project and so glad it's done, I'm really happy with how it turned out and kind of impressed with myself. I haven't done something like this in a long time, especially the visual effects and the compositing for video, and I think it turned out really well. If you haven't seen the poem video, please give it a watch. I spent so much time. And it's only 1.5 minutes long. If you're still here, thank you for watching this video. I know a lot of us are feeling very anxious and a little lost during this time, but I hope you're able to find that little bit of light breaking through the clouds and appreciate those little sparks of well-being and just appreciate the things that truly matter to you. So, peace.